Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone podcast, where we discuss all things crypto markets. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss Base's move away from Optimism to an in-house stack. We're going to talk about OpenAI's new crypto benchmark and how to have a successful TGE in today's landscape. Thank you all for joining us today. If you're joining and you're normally listening on X, we're having some technical difficulties today. No X spaces right now. I'll continue to try to get this up and running throughout the show. But right now, we are only live on YouTube and Zora. You can watch us each and every day on Zora and YouTube. See what we're talking about in real time. If you're listening on either platform, drop a comment. Let us know what you want to talk about today. Lots to discuss. Easy's going to be joining us shortly. He's got some farm animal emergencies that he's tending to, but he will be on the show shortly to kind of discuss some of the bigger topics, as we do have a number of topics to discuss. I'm going to jump right into it, kick things off with our crypto weather report, just so we have a little context ahead of Easy joining us. So without any further ado, let's roll. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, February 19th. Over the last 24 hours, the crypto roundup majors have fallen, with Bitcoin below 66K, Ethereum at 1,900, Solana under $80, and Hype now below $28. Over the past 24 hours, Base announced their plans to move away from an Optimism-based stack to a Base-operated stack. Base currently accounts for over 80% of the Optimism ecosystem TVL activity. The Optimism OP token is down 23% on the day on the news. Next up, OpenAI partnered with Paradigm to launch EVM Bench, a benchmark that measures how well AI agents can detect and fix smart contract vulnerabilities. The code is open source and has a dashboard where users can upload smart contracts to audit. This comes as OpenAI is finalizing a $100 billion funding round. And finally, Polymarket rolled out user-sponsored markets. This feature allows users to DC to be allocated as liquidity rewards to users who trade the sponsored market. This will allow traders to bootstrap liquidity that they want to trade on the market. That's all for the weather report. Back to us in the studio. Easy joining us. How you feeling today, Easy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Are the farm animals okay?
Oh, yeah, they're fine. We just have someone here working on the barn. So I had to move them and shit, and I forgot what was happening.
That's all good. How's your morning been? Chaotic?
Good.
Busy? Nice. Yeah, so I just ran through the top stories of the day. We have the big Base news, moving away from Optimism. Did you see this yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so, I mean, the biggest story here, I don't know if there's going to be much changing on the Base side. Maybe they're moving here so that they can eventually have a token. But I think the biggest market moving news here is Optimism losing Base. So this is the...
I mean, they generate most of their fees, right?
Yeah, so this is the Masari Report State of Crypto, second half of 2025. Base accounting for 76% of total superchain TVL. So that's a very, very big chunk of Optimism's TVL. The Optimism token fell off a cliff on the news yesterday. It didn't look like there's too much insider trading on this one. This one's basically been trading like the rest of crypto, pretty much down, and then a pretty deep spike yesterday, down 23%. Is this like an Optimism short here, or is this the news is already done and it's potentially?
I don't know. It feels like a short, but at the same time, if you lose everything, it should just keep going down.
Yeah, I mean, this chart has been pretty much down only. Yesterday's news is just a blip in the overall radar when you're looking at weekly for Optimism. So how much further can it go is the question.
That's the real question.
All right, so let's move on. I want to talk briefly about OpenAI's news. They're teaming up with Paradigm, and they are launching. They launched an EVM benchmark. Essentially, measures how well AI agents can detect, exploit, and patch high-severity smart contract risks. With this, they also like launched a front end that allows people to upload contracts and like find vulnerabilities in them. So it's kind of like a good for developers to like use it to audit, but also I feel like it's opening like a can of worms for existing smart contracts out there. I wonder if we're going to see agents scraping contracts and a number of exploits kind of coming out of the woodwork here.
Probably. I mean, don't you think that that's only going to continue to rise, like across the board?
I think that we're going to see a spike in crypto related exploits, and then I think it's going to fall off a cliff because I think that
it'll quickly be solved.
I think that there's going to be exploits in human developed stuff.
Yeah.
People wrote code, and I think that's going to be like more faulty than AI. We have seen AI make like mistakes. We just saw that Moonwell exploit because Claude made a mistake with the price of CBBTC. But I think that soon enough, like the AI agents are going to be better at writing smart contracts without exploits. If that makes sense. So I think we're going to see like a rise in like old contracts getting like exploited, and then I think we're going to see it fall off a cliff, and we're going to see less and less of this protocol risk from like actual like issues with smart contracts.
That would make sense. It's also just like I think AI will continue to get better with like smart contract development, which will also help with some of those inherent security risks, right?
Yep, 100%. How's your journey with AI been? I know yesterday you were a little frustrated. Have you had any breakthroughs? Have you been doing anything interesting with your agents?
I built a 5-minute BTC trading bot.
Ooh, up like an up down. Is it just looking at up down markets, or is it like looking at
only up down markets?
Cool. Is it looking like, so what's it using for like price? Is it like looking at Hyperliquid or?
It uses Coinbase, Binance, and Upbit, I think. It aggregates 3 different data points.
So you can't really have like a DPEG mistake. Smart.
Yeah, so it can't just all of a sudden like freak out. It did have a bug yesterday though. So that did happen where it just started spam buying this one market because something like happened where I adjusted something in production and it just started firing buy orders because it didn't register that it had been filled. So I ended up like I put $100 into this bot to like try it. We were up like $12 across the board. We're only making $5 trades just for testing because I did paper trading at first, but it's still not the exact same as like a real order book. And we're up $12, and I'm like, holy shit! Why does my balance say I have a $64 position open? I'm like, what is going on here? I opened it up, and it fired like 7 buys. I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on? And we won. So we ended up winning. And the bot ended up being up like $120 on a $100 account. I was like, oh shit, sick. Like, worked flawlessly. Ended up like crashing out on my bot. I also hit my Claude API limit yesterday for the first time.
Yeah. That replicating AI agent that we talked about yesterday, I had Claude spin that up locally for me. And it kept telling me to take the US strikes Iran by March 31st. And then it really, really, really wanted to look into measles statistics. It got like super obsessed with the measles in 2026 market.
I love the measles market.
Do you really?
I'm a little bittersweet about it because in January I wanted to long some of them, and the measles cases are tracking. Like, look at the graph. I'm pretty sure it's been like
it's up and to the right.
Yeah. But the February no strike, I like that, and it wanted you to do February 28th. I'm pretty sure.
February 28th, no, and March 31st, yes. It's been spitting out, which is like funny. You've been talking about that pretty much on the show. Like, I didn't give it any context. I was like, I want to see what these people who are using these Polymarket bots like are seeing just from like a no context start, and it was like these 2 Iran markets and measles are like where like laser focused.
I love it. It had pretty good analysis too, in terms of Trump probably wanting to let Iran give its final offer before a strike. Also, the big alpha I figured out yesterday because I went no on the 23rd is that on the 24th, Trump has his State of the Union address.
Oh,
It'd
that's
be
smart.
Very, very risky to do a strike right ahead of that. What if something goes wrong? What if U.S. soldiers dies? What if a ship sinks? That's a fucking disaster going into the State of the Union. He wants to use the State of the Union to talk about his accomplishments, not have a potential failure or an issue overshadowing it.
Yeah, so I just took the no on February 23rd and a yes on February 25th.
I love it.
Yeah, we're gonna try to middle it. Just
a
hopefully.
little hedgy.
Could you imagine if at the State of the Union and he's like up there and he's like, well, we just nuked Iran.
Well,
like,
dude,
oh,
Tyriel talks to, or not talks to, listens to like an insane amount of Trump stuff for Mention Market. So he has like a very good read on him. And he's like, what he could probably do is use the State of the Union to say like, I want to make a deal with them. Kamani, if you're listening, you need to make a deal with me or bad things are going to happen. More like that. I was just thinking like, dude, imagine they try to do a strike on Saturday, something goes fucking wrong, like 20 U.S. soldiers dies, and you're going to State of the Union address. That's a fucking disaster. So I was thinking it's going to happen after, but I hopped on because I wanted to tell you guys there's it's a pseudo exploit happening on Polymarket right now. It's a order book
exploit, the spoof.
Yes, and this is something that I thought about a while ago, and I talked to Tyriel about it. I was like, what's stopping someone? I was thinking of it in the context of farming rewards. I was like, what's stopping someone from putting a bunch of size on the book and then running their own Polygon RPC, listening for transactions that are coming from them, meaning that Polymarket's trying to execute a transaction on their behalf, meaning someone just tried to fill into your bid and you just pull all the USDC out of your account, right? And then basically you'd be able to farm rewards risk free, but it's a little clunky, right? You got to pull USDC out, USDC back in. This person exploited overnight, took it a step further. And what they're doing is think of the depth on the liquidity book, right? Like when you look at a liquidity book, like pull one up, Ray, and you'll see a lot of depth on it, right? So what they're doing, so like you see like the bids. If you wanted to like, so the 28, that's if you wanted to buy on the no, right? Okay, basically what they're doing is they're spoofing an order, right? And it's clearing the order book out, and then they replace that order using a nonce replacement, so the order never executes on chain. And then because the order book gets disjointed, then they get a dirt cheap fill.
Okay, so what you're saying is, since this order book is really, it doesn't live on chain, it lives on Polymarket.
Yes,
and it rectifies on chain. If someone puts in an order on chain, it clears the order book before that order finishes.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So that's interesting. I mean, I feel like that's something that needs to be addressed, because if you put in like a large order to clear the order book up to a certain depth, you are getting like that crazy discounted rate.
Exactly. And then they pull, and then they use a nonce replacement. So they just fast gas a transaction to kill that original transaction. And I've had this happen before. And this is what got me to think about it. 2 weeks ago, I went to buy in a market and I got a 5,000 share fill. It showed up on Polymarket, but then the shares weren't in my account and the transaction failed on chain. And sometimes that could just happen randomly, but yes, so that's a really big deal. Also, probably why they're trying to get to their own Hyperliquid style chain, because Hyperliquid works the same way, right? It's a claw that then executes on chain, right? But like since Hyperliquid is able to build their own tech stack, this is not possible on Hyperliquid. You can't spoof a order and pull it on Hyperliquid, but you can on Polymarket because they're running on Polygon. There's a delay.
So with these sort of markets, like when liquidity books are thinner, you only need $100 to get a 1 cent bid on like this market.
Yeah, but here's the tricky thing, right? Because if you think like if you spoofed on the no side, it would take the bid down to like 1 cent, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's 1 cent on the ask. You can't you can't, sorry, that's 1 cent on the bid. You can't get a fill there. So what they're doing and what Easy said is that it's a neg risk exploit, right? Where what neg risk bots do is when they think they get a fill on one side, they buy the other side of the book to get risk-free arbitrage. So what the guy's actually doing is he's placing an order on one side of the book and then faking the order on the other side of the book. And then the neg risk bot thinks it got a fill, and then it goes and it buys his shares on the other side for really cheap, and they get rinsed. I'm assuming it's limited to that. There was a guy, they tweeted about it, and it showed the guy's account. He was doing it on probably thinner liquidity markets, is my guess, because I think you need a setup to spoof it. But he's up 16K in 24 hours.
Is it this guy Green?
I don't know. I should have bookmarked it. I saw it come across my timeline. Let me just type in like Polymarket exploit.
I found it.
Sure, it'll come up.
Goaty?
No.
Yeah, this looks like it's
this guy right here. I just sent it in private chat, and then he links in the first comment. In the first comment, he links to the account. Yeah, he's doing it on like lower volume markets, probably with like higher spreads where he can set it up better. So if you go down, you can pull up his account, or you can just look at the screenshot and you can see what he's. So he's doing it on. But you like look on like the Dick Schiff one. He got. So that market's been over 75 cents since I've been tracking it, and he somehow got fills at 12. So he basically, my assumption is that he may have spoofed orders both ways. He may have spoofed the no.
You told me
and
this
the
guy
yes
swings both ways.
Yeah, I mean these days you never know, right? Is he FTM or MTF? It's a big difference in reaction speed. But yeah, so it really only impacts you if you're running a neg risk bot. Most people, and I would assume 0 people in our audience are running that, so that you're fine. Nothing's going to happen to you.
He's basically just created a bot to drain bots.
Yes, that's the Wild West of crypto, though. You always got to be on your toes.
Yep.
But that's the tricky thing, though, right? Is that like, in order to operate at the speed that a bot needs to operate, it needs to trust the API, right? But if the API is saying you're getting fills and then it's not happening on chain, I don't know if you saw a week or two ago, a market making bot lost $80 million on perps in like 10 minutes. And it was because there was an error with BitMEX, and the API was saying it was getting fills, and it actually wasn't getting fills. And so basically it did like it was just like buying, wicking it up, selling, wicking it down, buying, wicking it up, selling, and wicking it down, and like lost $80 million in a matter of minutes. So same kind of thing. So this is the tricky thing about anything on chain, right? Is anything on chain, if you're trusting an API, there's issues.
Right. If there's something not on chain that you can't verify.
But this shows more power to Hyperliquid. That they don't have this kind of stuff going on. That they've built their tech stack in a way like what Hyperliquid probably does, right? Is if you execute a trade, right, it probably like locks you in on your wallet to make that trade, right, and not be able to cancel it or override it, right? Like they Hyperliquid may not have nonce stuff like we do on Ethereum. But anyway, sorry to derail. I just thought it was just an interesting thing.
That is an interesting deep dive on like how prediction markets work and how like these bots operate, because I think it's good.
Speaking of prediction markets, do you think Bill Gates went to Epstein Island?
I'm on the no on Bill Clinton.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
First of all, I got it at 68 cents, which seemed cheap.
That's a good price.
But second of all, they're like Epstein and Maxwell, I mean, you can trust them maybe as far as you can throw them. Both said that he traveled on the plane a bunch, but never actually went to the island. One of the victims says that she did see him on the island, but the tricky thing is in the rules. So you have to look at the, So like the rules say there has to be like video evidence, photographic evidence, court records, sworn testimony.
Yes, Choose Rich Nick was on the island, and then
fuck yeah, he was.
The no that Michael Jackson was on the island.
So like if this guy, if evidence hasn't come out yet that he went to Epstein Island, where's the evidence? It would have already been out by now. And if you look at top holders on the no, remember Amalak? No, that's just a comment. You keep doing that. I like that you do that though. On Bill Clinton, remember Amalak. So that guy's a big Uma whale. So if you ever see that guy sizing into a market, there's a decent chance that he's like reviewed the rules and thinks that it's very unlikely the rules will resolve against him.
Nice.
He has a weird peanut chart though. It looks like he just like made a bunch of money and then just took like a long ass break. Now he's back to it.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, yeah, it's like.
But like if you're in like a disputed market and you see this guy buying the other side, you're fucked.
Not a good idea. He's in the whale private.
Well, there's a couple of guys like that. A News, Carr.
Carr's not, his win rate's not as good because I fucking followed Carr on a trade, never will again. And then he goes into Uma Discord. He's arguing the one side. I started arguing the other side. And then I get psyop to go to the other side. Then I get wrecked on the other side. Almalak comes in, starts slamming the fucking no. Pissed me off. I lost $500 very quickly.
How are we doing with Elon tweets? Easy.
I did well on those. Yeah, I mean, I'm up like in the last day. I made like $500 on the $1,000 port. I hit on the thing with the Elon tweets is I mostly trade the momentum side of them. Like I won't hold a lot of them till resolution till the day that they're resolving. So like I hit on 90 to 114 times from 16 to 18, which was yesterday. That one ended up fully resolving. Yes. I sold at 90, got in at like 68. So I was happy with that. I was on 280 to 299 and 300 to 319, which I should have actually held. I sold a little bit early on the 280 to 299. I was in at 21 cents. So I would have had another 200 on it. And then 300 to 319, I was in at 24 cents and sold that for break even just because he slowed down a lot. So like that was the crazier thing. I was also on 260 to 279, a little high, which I didn't like. But since this market resolves tomorrow, I'm going to be watching like much closer come tomorrow morning. Because if there's any sort of close opportunity for it, it becomes inherently more interesting. This is actually where I'll usually just try to find like a potential position. Like right now it's projected for 296 tweets for that. So you're
a little over.
Yeah, well, you're in that 280 to 299 range. So it depends, like, does he ramp up today or not? Like that's the big question here. Because if he doesn't ramp up today, then you have a little bit more than a 2x. So like I'm probably going to throw a couple like bids in here for some shares on this just because I like the opportunity at that 280 to 299. And if you can get a move to like 60, 70 cents, you can make 30, 40%, which is great.
Yeah, not bad at all. 50-50 shot. It ends up here. They're saying kind of like going over or under. I feel like everyone's just looking at this number and like this is always the favorite. Just everyone's using Elon tweets.live if they're trading this market. So
well, the thing is, you only get a small period of time for free, and it'll only show that first one. But like, there's more data below it. Like, there's a lot more data that you get.
Yeah.
Like if I show, let me show my screen.
Like last Thursday, where did he tweet last Thursday? On Thursday.
Yeah. So like, I get all the historical data. Last Thursday, he was blacked out from tweeting until 12 noon. But this is like this area right here is actually where he usually doesn't tweet. But like he had a very big tweet morning, which was not indicative of last week. So the weekend's usually his biggest. Friday is actually one of his lower days. He only tweeted 17 times. And if you look,
you would want to what would be super interesting is if you dumped all of this information, right? as far as you could get it at least, right? And then go into like use AI and try to create a model that looks at things like if Elon Musk was like traveling or if he had like an interview, right? If there's publicly
If you look
known
at when
things.
Starlink launches are happening, SpaceX launches are happening.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of it. Wolfie hates these markets, but they're short-term markets and they're fun to trade. Like they're data-driven regardless of what you want to believe. At the end of the day, we can go back and just hammer fucking Counter-Strike markets.
I got one that Wolfie would like more. Here you go. Will Forsen beat XEQ's Minecraft speedrun by March 31st?
So what's crazy about those markets is the XQC one like resolved like last second. Like it all depends on when they're streaming and how committed they are to it. That's the thing. Like XQC had this market too. Let me see if we can find the resolved market.
So is this guy just slamming Minecraft right now?
So look at this. So what was crazy was there was an XQC Minecraft market, just like there's a Forsen one, right? January 31st went from a 12% chance to 100 because he basically wasn't streaming the game. This went from 45 and up. And then he hopped on for like 2-3 straight days and went crazy and ended up hitting it. So like you had a 10x on this. So if you follow this, it becomes really interesting. Yeah, like Forsen definitely could beat XQC if he tries. I think he will. And like, because this has just been a back and forth between these guys where like, if you want to just tuck some money, like, dude, you throw $100 at this, you can win 500 if you think Forsen's going to actually care about it.
Interesting. I wonder if he knows about this too. Like he's just stacking at this point, stacking yes on February 28th, clearing his schedule on the 28th and the 27th and just firing it off. That should be interesting there as well. Anything else on the prediction market side you like, Kicks? We talked about the Measles. We didn't do a deep dive on why. What was your bull case for Measles? I haven't looked into this at all. I just know that my AI bot was like, yeah, I'm really interested in Measles. 5K end of year was his thought.
Just like the thesis is that like last year was a big surge. And so like if you think about just like how like something would like spread, right? Like if you have like a big surge out of nowhere one year, you'd expect next year that it could spread even further. For people though that think that this is has anything to do with RFK and like his anti-vaccine stuff, it's not correlated to that at all. They have the same issue in Canada right now. It's an outbreak. A lot of it's in Mennonite Christian communities. And so that's why they don't vaccinate. Also potentially like kids from, like third world countries and shit like that. Like bringing some in, but my understanding is it's mostly like Amish Mennonite kind of stuff.
I mean, we had a big spike. I mean, it looks like it's trailing off. Is this a reporting thing? I wonder that like additional cases get added over time. Like
by rash onset date. Yeah, but yeah, see, South Carolina has a big Mennonite community. That's why it's bad there.
Interesting. Talking about measles and Mennonites on the
measles
show.
And Mennonites sounds like the Old Testament. What was I looking at yesterday? It just slipped my mind. I've been looking a lot into the Kevin Warsh markets. Any 1 to 5% markets that we can take a flyer on. I don't have a 1 to 5% market for you. I have a 14% market for you, which is uranium. Iran agrees to give up uranium enrichment. I'm very long on this.
1 to 5% markets that you're taking a flyer on are tough. Like I think for those, you need to like find a rule exploit on something that's like resolving. It's very hard to find.
Like I mean, like a 14% is still like a 7x, and in a month and a half if it hits. That some of this is the hedge, right? Because like if they agree to uranium enrichment, then they're not striking.
Right.
but I'm like more long than just that on this. The thought process behind this is that this is like a core component to what Trump wants. So like if they don't do this, then there's 100% going to be strikes. Like this has to be a part of the agreement. Iran also floated at the last meeting on Tuesday that they're open to pausing for 3 to 5 years, which would qualify as a yes for this. So they're coming back in a week and a half with a written proposal. And I think if Iran in the written proposal says like we will agree to stop uranium enrichment for 3 or 5 years, this will spike to like 40 cents even without the U.S. accepting it. So that's my flyer one. Kicks, are you still short Carvana? I am short Carvana.
Market's
it's
just
pumping
down 6% on the day.
Yeah, dude, it went all the way down to 278, but you can't close options off hours.
Were you just watching that like, I really want to close it?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, if I closed it there, I would have been probably 10K profit. But I'm going to sit on it. I'm assuming that it's coming back up so that anybody that bought like short-term options that like expire Friday get wrecked. So I'm gonna hold this until until it goes back to 280, ideally. Then I'll sell it.
Stock market's at an all-time high. If you have a fall off on the stock market, I imagine Carvana is going to be more proportionally hit than the rest. So it's kind of like almost like a hedge against the overall market too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I like it as a good hedge. I thought illegal immigrants got free health care. Kicks throwing low-key shots when South Carolina and Utah have the highest amount in the country. But I said it was Mennonite communities primarily, not illegal immigrants as the primary case. But I'm saying that if some illegal immigrants come with measles and they're not vaccinated, that maybe is why the spread got started. But the lack of vaccination in the Mennonite community, not illegal immigrants, is the cause for this.
I have a question on the uranium enrichment. Is there any chance that like we get both like U.S. strikes Iran and this?
So you love this. Tyriel and I went into a 3-way play. We're yes on strikes, yes on nuclear deal, and yes on Khamenei getting out. And his order of operations is that like the deal isn't how the pricing works is very interesting. If there's no strikes and there's a nuclear deal and everything's good, you break even, right? If there's strikes and then a nuclear deal, you make like 50%. If there's strikes and then Khamenei is out and then there's a nuclear deal, which would be a Venezuela-like process, then you make like, big gains. Too bad you can't parlay it.
Right.
But yes, I do think that could very much happen. The problem with PredictShark is, and this is actually what like DraftKings and FanDuel deal with, is that you deal with these group of people that their whole thing is they just try to find exploits in your parlay engine.
Right.
And so they just go around trying to find mispricings where they can just hammer you for risk-free money. When you're on FanDuel and DraftKings, you can prevent that by detecting them and just locking down their account. Exactly. You can't do that on chain. The Kevin Warsh markets are interesting because there's some markets around when he gets nominated by.
So end of month, 31% chance. End of March, 86% chance.
Yeah. So that's that's basically Trump sending the official letter to the Senate. And then there's whether or when he'll be confirmed by the Senate. But yeah, the Chungustan's a very good trader. Chungus Khan.
And he's on the yes by end of this month.
Yeah. So right now there's a little bit of like a stickler process where Lisa Murkowski and this other guy on the Senate Banking Committee are saying that they won't push him through until they drop the charges against Jerome Powell. An interesting crypto one, Opinion. You know Opinion Labs? the prediction market on Binance? Launch a token. Launch a token buy. So this was a great no on the look at the February 28.
Oh wow! So this was like close to 90% all the way down now to 9%.
So just highlighting that if you're in crypto and you're active in crypto, and you can get a read on some things, there's some really good opportunities, right? Because like what you could have looked at, you could say like, hey, yeah, Opinion Labs is going to launch a token eventually. That's the BNB play. That's the Binance Smart Chain play. But the crypto markets are absolute AIDS right now. You know, are they going to want to launch a token into really choppy markets, or are they, you know, they're going to wait a little bit? Basically, you got at one point in time, you got 10-1 on your money that they were not going to launch in 3 weeks and just like wait until March or April or whatever. The whole base drama was very interesting on here in terms of whether base would launch a token.
What do you take? What do you take of like? Did it increase the odds? I would like my gut reaction.
Well, I think it went way down.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But look at the December one.
Does that one go up? Is the question. No.
Yeah. So they all spiked down off the news that like some people were leaving the chain and then like them switching stacks.
Right.
But what some people have argued is that them switching stacks could allow them to use some sort of gas token, right? Like a base token.
Yeah, but that probably wouldn't come this year, I imagine.
Get 2 extra money.
Like a stack switch. I could see them doing an incentives program once they go live with a couple of hard forks. They have got like
and there's other issues, right? Like their stock's down really bad, and if they're like launching a token that has value accrual to it that doesn't include equity holders, right?
Yeah. Lot to juggle here.
Lot to juggle. Look at that, man. That looks like the ETH chart. Oh, I already said that. Made that joke before. That's the triple dip.
It's like the same chart. Speaking of ETH, I hear ETH Denver is like 1/5 the size, or like 60% of the normal size this year. It's really almost like a ghost town, which is kind of scary. Mid bear market kind of stuff, but even people are saying like previous bear markets, it wasn't this poorly attended.
Yeah, I just think that the problem is like from a recruiting young new talent. Like if I was 20 years old, I'm going into AI, not crypto.
Right.
In 2017, I would be going into crypto, not AI. You know, so it's just becoming an older technology. It's not as new, novel, cool. There's not as many like hard, interesting problems to solve for. Doesn't mean crypto is going anywhere. There's not going to be a lot of opportunity, but you could argue that like this last cycle of just like meme coin launch pads and stuff like that was kind of like the last breath of a dying phoenix before it needs to be reborn. But when phoenixes are reborn, there's really cool things that can happen, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff's going to be built over the next couple months. So sticking around, staying up to date, and like watching the landscape over the next what do we got? Next 6 to 8 months is my read on the market, is going to be super valuable come the next wave. DCA.
I agree, and I think like per what you were talking about yesterday, I think AI crypto synergies is undeniable for sure. It just logically makes sense that you would want to give like AI agents, like they can just interact with the chain and transfer money and do all of these things way easier. It's essentially like an API versus like, other than giving it your credit card. Yeah. Other than like giving it your credit card, it's just hard for it. Like imagine me telling my AI agent like, hey, I need you to send Ray $50. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Is it going to like DM you and be like, hey, here's Nick's credit card details. Can you scan it on your Square thing? You know what I mean? Like it can't log into my Venmo. I mean, it could in theory.
What's your account number and routing number of your bank?
Exactly. Right. Stay on the call while the call center person's going to ask you 40 questions before you can send the wire transfer. So I think the AI X crypto, the synergies there are undeniable. Is something I was, really excited about in early 2025, and I'm still excited about it today. So I think there'll be a lot of synergies there. I miss the raw speculation, that's always been really fun. Like with NFTs, it was an absolute blast. With meme coins, it was fun too. And that'll come back in some form, but it always has to come back in a different beast, right? Like, NFTs was 2021, then the game got solved. Meme coins was 2024, then the game got solved. So the next game will be our AI agents doing something wild. We got to bring back the metaverse, dude. I mean, you just got to have a metaverse with AI agents, right? And your AI agent, like, you just kind of prompt it what you want it to do today. Like, hey, go hit on Cynthia. Okay, we're trying to trying to hook up with that babe, that AI agent hottie, and then go like paint and try to sell your paintings to other people in the metaverse.
Speaking of new metas, one last thing I want to cover today before we wrap. Adam Reinaudic from TokenWorks announced season 2 of TokenWorks. We talked about this one when season 1 hit. Kix brought it onto our radar. Anybody who got involved and stuck around had a very, very profitable mint last year. I think it was a 1/8 mint. And I think just the punk strategy dividends has paid out like 1.5 ETH, not including the other projects he ran where there were some allocations and you had a chance to get a view of what he's doing early. So they're launching another campaign starting Monday for a mint, 1 Ethereum mint. 80% of the funds are held in the NFT and unlocked over the year. 10% of the funds are unlocked immediately as ETH. 10% of the funds buy punk strategy for the team. NFTs can be burned for return of funds. So the way this works is you mint it. You can refund it day one for 80% of your mint price. That goes down over time. You get access to Adam's Discord for TokenWorks. You get benefits on his different products that he launches. And yeah, I mean, it's been a group that's been fun to be a part of, fun to watch him build, and worked out as a play, like an investment play too. So who knows what's going to happen this one. Can he pull another punk strategy rabbit out of his hat for season 2? That question
so he's like doing another mint.
Yep. Yeah. So like each one's good for 1 year, essentially. So
Gotcha.
we minted TokenWorks good for 1 year in May. This one is launching February. He's trying to expand the group. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of, we were talking about interesting. What happens to our NFT at the end?
Ours?
Yeah.
Hasn't talked about it yet.
No, like burnt. It's burnt, right? Or is it like we can burn it and tax loss harvest it?
Oh yeah, I actually asked him about that. It's like, hey, like, is there any way we can do like anything like that ahead of, or like at the end of its like period?
Or I guess you could just depreciate it. You could just tell your accountant that it was a year-long pass expense. So I guess you could just, since it's not it's not an asset, it's an expense, right?
Well, it's also it's you can't burn it. Well, I guess you could. You could technically, you can burn it through their site, but you can't transfer it. It's soul bound.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like by that you can say that like this is not a tradable asset. It's like a season pass. It's like an expense. So
yeah, you can expense it versus use it as a capital gains loss.
Sweet.
Interesting.
I remember to do that.
Yep. I'm gonna run through some quick hitters here before we wrap. You can catch each and every one of these at dailybones.com. Subscribe to our free daily newsletter. The Ethereum Foundation released their 2026 protocol priorities update. The third stablecoin yield meeting is set to take place at the White House this morning. The NFT total market cap has dropped to $1.5 billion. This is the same market cap as Pump, just the token. Hyperliquid launched a policy lobbying group seeded with $28 million worth of hype. Kraken acquired the Magna token vesting manager platform. The UAE mined $455 million worth of Bitcoin through Citadel. The Novig sports trading platform raised $75 million, led by Pantera. Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs continued their outflow streak yesterday. FX Hash raised a new round backed by Coinbase Ventures. Brian Armstrong and others spoke at the World Liberty Forum at Mar-a-Lago, and the Fed published a research paper on Cauchy and macro markets. Get all this and more at dailybones.com. You can subscribe there, absolutely free. Daily emails right to your inbox, providing the most actionable crypto news and a weekend update summarizing the most important stories from the week. But that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you all for listening. It's been a wonderful Thursday here. We do this podcast Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple. Also watch us back on YouTube and Zora, where we stream each and every day. Thanks again